Welcome back to Veteran Idiot. That's Scrappy. We did an alignment and caster plates the other day on him. His plates are still chattering. That hasn't changed, in case you were wondering. But today, we're not working on this guy. Well, maybe a little bit, but not a lot. I'm going to throw a bunch of caster at it. It still kind of wanders in the road. It probably has a lot to do with them skinnies up front, but we're going to pretend like that's not it and throw a bunch of caster at it, see if we can get it to go away. I'm going to throw a bunch of caster at that, and then we're going to go over and we're going to get Oscar and we're going to try and figure out why LS trucks are doing LS things and so on and so forth. But I'll explain more of that when we get over there. But some of the other stuff that's coming up, this guy here is not mint, and it's not just the color why it's not mint, and I'll throw a video up that shows why it's not mint. But as you can see, the frame is, one would say, it's not straight at all. What we got to do with this guy is I got another frame somewhere yonder, and we're gonna chop that frame. I've got a short bed kit, and we're gonna chop this bed, throw it all back together, so we got ourselves a short bed C10. This is the original motor out of Oscar. It's like a mid-80s 350. Nothing special about it at all. It's got some quadra-junk carburetor on it and mechanical fuel pump, long tube headers. That's about it for this truck. But I do have an adjustable track bar and that short bed conversion kit that we're going to throw on this guy. Maybe we'll lower it down a little bit too. You know, little spring choppy sit down. We'll see how things pan out and if that's what we want to do. But this should be a good, clean truck. Eventually we'll throw on a backyard paint job on this guy, maybe go with the same color or something similar along those lines. The inside of this thing is pretty minty. Don't look at the seat. That's not what I'm talking about, or that part over there. But the rest of it, she's pretty nice. Pretty clean little truck. This is a big window 70 C10, and hopefully we can make it a, well, it runs and moves right now. It's got a turbo 400 and that 350, but the biggest problem is that the frame's so messed up back there and it's broken in the front, so the actual gearbox moves the frame. So every time you try and turn the steering wheel, the frame spreads apart and then comes back. So that's bad. That's bad. We're going to take this cab, put it on the other frame. I'll show you that later. But that's the plan with this guy, and that should be coming up pretty soon. But for now, let's go fix the alignment in that thing over there. Well, we got here. Alignment on this guy, good to go. Only problem with fixing the front end, getting all the steering and alignment fixed on that, is that now it became even more apparent there's something wrong in the back. It's like wagging down the road. The front's staying planted, but it's wagging down the road. It might have something to do with these here old Mercuries or G60s bias plies. Might have a lot to do with that. Deer tay. We'll just pretend like that's not the issue. But it has the factory stamped control arms in it. They're probably noodles. The bushings look bad. It's kind of clunking, kind of moving around. So that'll probably be on the list of things to fix, but not yet. This might be one of our upcoming projects here before it gets 7 bajillion degrees outside. This is the frame to that not mint C10 that we got in the backyard. This one, as you can see, complete, very, very dirty. but it's complete. We'll end up switching out these spindles for the 5 luggers. Oh, these are 6. Interesting. Interesting. Yes, we'll probably switch to the 5. But nonetheless, this is our guy. Need to take everything off of this thing while it doesn't have anything on it. Clean it up, strip it down, replace the bushings, clean all of this gunk off here. Holy oil leak and sludge. Wow. This is actually a really impressive exhaust system too. May or may not have been made out of whatever piping somebody had in their backyard. That's neither here nor there. That's all going to go away anyways. But this is a straight frame. It is still swing arm or radius arm and coils. So that's good. We won't have to worry about that business. And it's easier to lower these trucks than it is the leaf spring trucks. They tend to ride a hell of a lot better too than those hanger drops and shackle drops, flip kits, so on and so forth. I don't think we're gonna have the C channel. I don't think we're lowering it that far, but we intend to lower it some. So for a short bed conversion, it cuts somewhere in here. There's a section that comes out of the middle here, and then a section out of the bed comes out here, and then another down here comes out. And this bed here's got a fancy diamond plate, so not too worried about screwing that up. May do a wood bed, I don't know, or it just depends on what we feel like doing. Wood bed's kind of a pain in the arse though. But anyways, this frame is straight. This bed is decent-ish, better than the one that's on it. But this here is going to be up and coming soon. Like I said, before it gets too crazy hot. Actually looking forward to this. I think this is going to be a really fun project. But for now, let's figure out what the hell is wrong with that thing. So I brought this over to check out the tuning and everything else, find out why it's falling on its face at like 30% throttle. And on the way over here, it starts overheating. Shows 230 up on the computer itself, but only like 200 down on the actual like analog coolant temperature sensor that I've got down in here. So I don't know. It didn't look like the fan was spinning at a high speed. Whatever. I pulled it in, hooked up the temp gun, ran it through the head, the radiator, all that business, and it showed around 200 degrees. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Maybe when we take all this apart and look for vacuum leaks, we can burp that back sensor and see if maybe there's just air there and it's getting a false reading every once in a while. But it doesn't seem to matter what you do with these things. LS I thought was supposed to be the easiest, most capable engine in the face of the planet. But if you don't get any of the right sensors, they all got to be GM sensors, because if you get anything else, the impedance is wrong or the ohms are wrong or something and it doesn't recognize, won't work, nothing like that. So it has to be GM sensors, has to be GM intake gaskets. Anything else will leak. It's the most picky, easy engine ever, and it's been just a pain in my you-know-what ass since we put it in here. But I think the issue with this one, it may be sensors, I don't know. I put GM sensors in, maybe they were also bad, but I think the fuel map and the tune that was put in here is wonky in some way. Whether it doesn't recognize the throttle pedal that well or what the issue with is. I tried logging it before, and it shows that the throttle goes from 30% to 130%, so maybe it's not calibrated correctly. I'm not sure. This thing needs to go back to a base tune, disable VATs, and see what we got from there. But right now we're going to check for vacuum leaks, and we're going to check to see if maybe the gaskets are screwed up. Something that shows a reason why it would be pulling timing once you get over 30% throttle and it just falls on its face. So hopefully the coolant thing is just like I said, an air bubble. We'll burp it in the back and see what's going on with that. Hopefully we don't have to replace a clutch fan, and hopefully it's not a water pump. Just take it easy on me, all right? Jeez. Trying to lighten the wallet with every step. So we got this all taken apart. There's no obvious signs that any of the gaskets are leaking. There's a ton of fuel in the intake runners and a ton of fuel on the gaskets themselves. So maybe that's where that tune is going awry, as it's just dumping too much fuel. The way it was written, maybe we were way over on the fueling maps, and that's the issue that we're coming across. Like I said, maybe a base tune will just fix that. But the gaskets look good. These are Moly gaskets. They're not the GM one, but they're supposed to be the exact replicas of the GM one, and even GM service centers use the Moly ones. So these should have worked. I don't see any obvious damage at all. Like I said, there's a ton of fuel all over the intake runner side of it, and then which I would expect, the fuel injectors right here spraying down this direction, there would be a ton of fuel in that area. And then if you flip it over, there's just barely any fuel on the opposite side, the head side. So I think these are sealing well. I don't know. We'll clean them up and we'll throw them back in. We may replace all the sensors with GM sensors. We may go find some GM intake gaskets just to be done with it. It's not hard to pull this intake plenum off of here. It's just kind of a waste of time and a pain in the ass. Keep doing this all the time to try and chase something down. And I really would have liked to have logged this thing again, like a complete log with poles and everything, before bringing it in here and taking it apart, but it was overheating and that was an issue. So let's clean this all up. I'll burp that sensor in the back and see what if we got in stock for sensors at our local O'Reilly's. All right, so I got a couple different pedals here. We're gonna try and see what kind of swing we get here on the throttle body with them, if anything at all. I don't wanna be spraying fuel across the whole shop. Hopefully it doesn't shoot that bolt out. Let's see, nada, not a thing. Let's plug it into the other one. Also nada. Plug it back into the one that's under the floor or under the dash. Did it move? It's not actuating. Maybe it needs to all be put back together before we start messing with that. So why don't we go ahead, clean it up, put it all back in there, and then we can start messing with these pedals again. It's all back in there, just need to tighten it down. Finish up some odds and ends, like tightening that fuel line, putting on this steam port hose, which is always fun. Oh, there we go. Listen, guy, quit hitting me in the head. Thanks. So, everything's cleaned up, it's put back down. I'm gonna torque the intake to the specs that is required of it, and then we'll see what we got, and I'll see if I can't get the bass tune and load the bass tune in here. Maybe we can even get around the block to get some logging to see exactly what's going on with that. But we've made sure that it's nothing over there. I pulled the coolant sensor in the back. It burped a little bit of air, so hopefully that was all that it was. Let's see about finishing this up. All right, let's try this again. Tell me if the throttle blade moves. Got anything that time? Actually, I know we did because I could hear it going. Now I need to try and run this back through and see if I can't get one of these pedals to hook up to there and see if they cycle as well, because I might just have the wrong pedal down in there. It was kind of a mix-up between whether we had a 2005 or a 2006, blah, 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 blah. And then this tune was made for the addition of flex fuel, which we have flex fuel injectors in here, but there's no flex fuel sensor. So I don't know if the tune got screwed up in that aspect where it's looking for the sensor, but it's not finding it. There's no actual plug for it wired into this harness. So maybe this whole thing just needs to be flashed back down, get rid of all that, and disable the flex fuel, so on and so forth. We'll go back through it and see what we find. But let's see if it's the pedal is the issue for right now. Pedal number one, let's see what we got. Nada, nothing, nothing. Pedal number two, nada. All right, just have to go with that pedal that's in there. Appears to be the right one. It is a 6-prong that comes from the pedal there. These are both 10, but that throttle pedal assembly there, or module, is a 10-prong as well. So I figured we'd check everything out, see if that was the issue, and it was not. So now we know for sure. All right, let's get this MAF back on here and then get it up to temperature. See if we can burp out anything. Let's see how it runs. Maybe we can go do some logging. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Only cloudy every day. Turn it on. So far, so good. That doesn't mean it's fixed yet. All right, we're warmed up. Thermostat is opened, blowing hot air out here. You can see the coolant temperature is 190-ish, went up to 194 before the thermostat opened, and then went back down to 188. And it seems to be just staying there. Let's see if the throttle is doing weird stuff again. We shoot all of our coolant out. Guess I should have known that. Throttle says it only got up to 80 or around 80%, so cap this sucker off. All right, now that we're not at risk of spraying everything out of here, let's snap the throttle again and see what it looks like. Wonder if it'll give us a different parameter for this. Let's see. All right, let's go take it for a drive, see what shows up on here. Seems to be running pretty strong. I'm gonna get on the throttle here in a little bit, but what I really need to do is go back and get the laptop so we can log some of this stuff. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't overheating anymore, which right now it's doing good, hanging around 195. Must have just been that air bubble on the back, I guess. So, all right, let's go back, get the laptop and log this. The audio was on that, but you could actually hear it lay over halfway through. So the throttle's going to 99.97 according to my little OBD2 reader app I have on my phone. The real thing will tell us will be the laptop, but I didn't catch what the timing was at while it was doing that, but you could literally hear it lay over and just bog down, almost like it pulled either fueling or timing. Can't really tell, but we'll figure it out. We'll get hooked up to the laptop. Okay, so we're all hooked up here. I'm gonna go run some full throttle pulls in this here LS and see what we can't get on the data log, and then take a look at it when we get back. All right, let's see what we got.
Mark 1. The G-forces, boss, the G-forces!
Okay, so I've got the log. I'm looking at it here in front of me. To be honest, I don't know what a whole lot of this means, but at least I can show you guys, and maybe one of you guys will have a good idea what we're looking at here. But you can see here, so I start getting on the throttle here. Throttling up, throttle up, throttle up. As soon as we get to about 50% throttle, the long-term fuel trim and the short-term fuel trim go to 0, and they just stay 0. And it's that way all the way across. TPS is only pulling 99.6, so it's not what I thought before with 130% or whatever, but all the way across the pull. So I don't know what that means. Maybe one of y'all know what that means, but take a look at this here and see what you think from that. So it's almost like it loses. Let's see if I can enlarge this. All right, so that's a long-term fuel trim here as we go across. And then short-term. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think's going on here? What's the issue? We can move over to the second pull where I kind of rolled into the throttle a little bit more. But it does the same thing, zeroes out all the way across full throttle. Anything above 50% throttle, it zeroes out. So here, let me show you the pull in real time and see what you guys think. What do you guys think? Let me know. I'm at a loss for this one. I just know it is falling on its face, and I'm not sure exactly what it is that causes this. I could look into more of this. I got a couple of friends that tune these kind of things, but maybe you guys got some better options. If anybody wants this log sent to them, I could send it to them as well. I don't know how much you'll be able to get out of this. It's just a standard Delphi computer. It's not a Holley Terminator X or anything else like this. This is just a regular computer for the 2006 Silverado. But I don't know. You guys let me know. I'm at a loss. That's going to do it for this one. Hopefully I hear back from some of you guys or somebody else lets me know what's going on with this thing. I appreciate you all following me along with watching me struggle with this LS over and over and over again. I'm sure some of you enjoyed that, but needless to say, I don't enjoy it. But it's a learning curve and I'm willing to figure it out. So thanks again for watching. And as always, have fun.